In the heart of the great African savanna, where the golden sun kisses the grasslands and every creature bows to the mighty lion, a tale was born. A tale not of strength, but of wit. What happens when a tiny spider, no bigger than a coin, dares to challenge the king of the beasts? Tonight you will discover how courage and wisdom can defeat greed, and why this story still echoes around campfires to this very day. A clever spider outwits a greedy lion. Long ago, in the heart of the African savanna, there lived a mighty lion. He was feared by all the animals because of his sharp teeth and loud roar. But the lion had one great weakness. He was very greedy. Whenever he saw food, he wanted it all for himself. No animal could eat in peace without the lion demanding a share. Even the smallest fruits on the trees were not safe from his hunger. The animals grew tired of his selfish ways. They began to whisper, "Who will stop the greedy lion?" Among the animals was a tiny spider named Anansi. Though small, Anansi was known for his clever mind. He could weave stories as easily as he spun webs, but more than stories, he could spin tricks to fool the proud. When Anansi saw how the lion tormented the animals, he became sad. He thought of the little ones who went hungry each day. Then he whispered to himself, "Even the strongest can be defeated by wisdom." That night, he began to plan. The next morning, the lion roared at the riverbank. "Bring me food or I will eat you instead," he threatened. The animals trembled and hurried to find him something. Some brought bananas, some brought yams, and others fish. But the lion swallowed everything without saying thank you. When he finished, he growled, "This is too little. Bring me more." Anansi, watching from his web above, shook his small head. He knew the time had come to teach the lion a lesson. Anansi climbed down his silky web and bowed before the lion. "O great king of the savanna, I have a secret for you," he said. The lion narrowed his golden eyes suspiciously. "What secret can a tiny insect like you possibly know?" Anansi smiled, pretending to tremble in fear. "There is a hidden storehouse of food deep in the forest," he whispered. The lion's ears perked up at once. "Take me there, spider. Take me there now." Anansi pretended to hesitate. "Oh, mighty lion, the journey is dangerous. The food belongs to spirits." The lion roared with laughter. "Spirits? Do you think I fear spirits? I am the king of beasts." The animals around trembled at his thunderous voice. Anansi bowed again, hiding a sly grin. "If you are not afraid, then follow me," he said softly. And so, their journey began. The lion marched proudly behind the little spider, his heavy paws crushed leaves and snapped twigs. Meanwhile, Anansi skipped lightly from root to root. He hummed a little tune as if nothing troubled him. The lion licked his lips, imagining the hidden feast. "Soon I will never be hungry again," he thought. But Anansi kept glancing back with a secret smile. The trap in his mind was almost ready. After many hours, they reached a tall, dark cave. The air inside smelled damp and mysterious. Anansi stopped at the entrance and raised a tiny leg. "Oh, great lion, the food is inside, but there is a rule." The lion snorted impatiently. "What rule?" "The spirits demand that anyone entering must tie himself with rope." "Why?" asked the lion suspiciously. "To prove his courage," Anansi said quickly. The lion puffed out his chest proudly. "Courage? I have more courage than any beast alive." He looked around and found a thick vine on the ground. He wrapped it around his body without a second thought. "See, little spider, I am not afraid." Anansi nodded and hid a laugh. "Now let me tie the knots for you," he said kindly, and he bound the lion tighter and tighter. Soon the lion could hardly move. "Why are you tying me so strongly, spider?" he asked. Anansi pretended to be serious. "The spirits will test your strength. You must not break free." The lion roared with pride. "I will never break! I am the strongest!" Ananse climbed on a rock and called out loudly, "O spirits of the cave, here is the greedy lion!" The echo of his voice boomed back like thunder. The lion's eyes grew wide with fear. "Spider, what is that sound?" he asked nervously. Ananse whispered, "The spirits are coming to judge you." The lion trembled, though he tried to look brave. He pulled at the ropes, but found he could not escape. The harder he struggled, the tighter the vines cut. "Spider, untie me at once!" he roared, but Ananse only shook his head. The lion roared so loudly that birds flew from the trees. But Ananse stood calmly, watching with shining eyes. "All your life you have eaten and taken without sharing," he said. "Now you will feel what it is like to be helpless." The lion's pride began to shrink inside him. Fear replaced his hunger, and shame burned his heart. "Please, Spider, forgive me," the lion begged. But Ananse only crossed his tiny legs. Soon other animals gathered around the cave. They saw the great lion, tied like a bundle of yams. Gasps of surprise turned to laughter and cheers. "Is this the same lion who stole all our food?" they asked. The antelopes danced with joy, the monkeys clapped loudly, the elephants trumpeted so hard the ground shook. For the first time, the animals were not afraid. They were free to laugh at the greedy king. The lion's eyes filled with tears. He had never been so humiliated in his life. His golden mane was tangled, his paws were stuck. The mighty king now looked weak and pitiful. "Please, Ananse, untie me," he whispered softly. "I promise I will change. I will no longer be greedy." The animals stopped laughing and listened closely. Could the lion truly mean it? Ananse tapped his tiny chin, pretending to think deeply. "Words are easy, lion. But how can we trust you?" The lion bowed his mighty head to the ground. "For the first time, I see how my greed has hurt everyone," he said. "I made your children hungry. I made your families suffer." The animals murmured in agreement. His guilt was clear. Even the little rabbit stepped forward bravely. "Lion, we only wanted to share the land with you," Ananse finally spoke. "If you want freedom, you must promise before all animals here." The lion swallowed hard, his pride fighting with his heart. But he knew he had no choice. "I promise to share, I promise to protect, I promise never to steal." "Again!" he roared. The animals nodded, satisfied at last. Ananse loosened the ropes slowly, carefully. The lion stumbled out, free but humbled. When he stood tall again, the lion no longer looked proud. His eyes were softer, his roar quieter. He looked at the small spider with respect. "Though you are tiny, you have taught me the greatest lesson," he said. The animals clapped, cheering Ananse's cleverness. From that day, the lion was no longer feared but respected. He shared his meals and even guarded the weak. The savanna became peaceful once more. But Ananse was not finished yet. He wanted the lion to truly understand humility. "Lion," he said, "to seal your promise, you must serve the animals." The lion raised his eyebrows. "Serve them how?" "By helping to carry water and protect the fields," Ananse replied. The lion sighed, but he agreed. So the mighty king of the jungle became a helper, and every day he grew less greedy and more kind. At first, the animals were unsure. Could a lion really change? But when hyenas tried to steal food, the lion chased them away. When fire spread in the grass, the lion stomped it out. When the river overflowed, he carried the young ones to safety. Slowly, the animals began to trust him again. They saw his strength, now used for good, and their hearts softened toward him. As for Ananse, he returned to his web with pride. He knew the savanna would remember this story forever. The little spider who outwitted the greedy lion. But deep down, Ananse was also humble. He had not done it for fame, but for peace. He wanted all creatures, big and small, to live in harmony. Every night he spun new webs with joy, and his stories spread across the land. Children of the savanna would gather around fires. Their elders told them, "Do not be greedy like the lion. And remember, wisdom is stronger than strength." The tale spread from village to village, river to river, even faraway lands heard of Anance's cleverness. He became a hero not for his size, but his mind. And the greedy lion's shame became a warning. Greed, they said, always ties you down in the end. Years passed, and the savanna thrived. Animals no longer lived in fear of hunger. Fruits ripened on trees without being stolen. Streams flowed with fish that all could share. Even the smallest squirrel ate in peace. The lion kept his word and became a gentle guardian. The animals no longer called him greedy. They called him protector of the savanna. One day, the lion met Anance by the river. "Little friend, I owe you everything," he said softly. "If not for your trick, I would still be blind with greed." Anansi smiled and nodded. "It was not a trick, lion. It was a lesson." The lion bowed his great head in respect. From then on, he honored Anance as his teacher, and the spider's wisdom became legend. But sometimes when young lions asked their father, "Why do you share?" he would pause and sigh deeply. Then he would tell them about the day he was tied, the shame, the fear, the laughter of the animals. He would warn them never to be greedy. "Because greed weakens even the strongest," he said, "and wisdom can conquer the proudest heart." His children listened and never forgot. The story grew beyond animals. Humans in nearby villages heard it too. They sang songs of the clever spider and the humbled lion. Drummers beat rhythms that echoed the lesson. Dancers leapt like spiders weaving their webs. Children clapped as they learned the tale, and mothers told it at night to their little ones. So no one would grow up greedy. Anance watched from his tree and chuckled. "I am small, yet my wisdom reaches far," he whispered. Sometimes he teased the lion, "Remember the ropes?" And the lion would blush, though he smiled too. For he had learned that even shame can shape the heart. The two became unlikely friends, strength and wisdom together. The savanna was safer with both of them united. The balance of life had been restored. When the rains came, food was plentiful. When the dry season came, the lion shared what he hunted. No animal went hungry again. The savanna became a land of plenty. The story of their unity gave hope to all. Even the smallest ant felt brave under their protection. Harmony sang through the wind and the trees. The land glowed with peace and joy. But Anansi never stopped weaving stories. Today it was the lion, he told himself. Tomorrow it may be another, for he knew that greed never disappears completely. It waits in hidden corners of the heart, but he also knew that wisdom could fight it. So he spun his webs as reminders that wisdom shines brighter than strength. Sometimes the lion would lie under the stars. He would look up and remember the cave, the ropes cutting his fur, the laughter of the animals. But instead of anger, he felt gratitude, because that day changed his life forever. He learned to be humble, to be kind, to share. He was no longer feared but loved, and his heart found true peace. So whenever a child in the village asked, "Mother, why is the spider always in our stories?" the mother would smile and answer, "Because wisdom, though small, saves us all." The tale of Anance and the lion lived on. It became more than a story. It became a guide, and in every telling, hearts grew softer, and greedy spirits shrank away. And so, dear child, remember this tale. The spider was small but clever. The lion was strong but greedy. In the end, wisdom overcame pride. Greed was defeated, and kindness was born. The savanna lived in peace because of one tiny spider. May you too carry wisdom in your heart and never let greed tie you down.